Next up on the list is reviewing the Boston Tea Party. So the Boston Tea Party was a political protest that occurred on December 16th, 1773 in Boston, Massachusetts. Roughly 342 chests of tea that were imported from the British East India Company were thrown into the Boston Harbor by angry colonists. There was numerous people, obviously, who participated in this. And the reason that this all happened was because the American colonists were upset at the British Parliament for imposing taxes, which came from the Stamp Act, on the American colonists, even though they had no representation in their government. This is where the famous phrase taxation without representation comes from. And the angry colonists were just like, why do we have to pay taxes if we're not even getting a say? We don't have a representative in your parliament. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to them. And so because of that, they ended up retaliating and throwing all the tea in the harbor. There were lots of issues after the Boston Tea Party, obviously, including closing the Boston port. This was a huge issue at the time because the Boston port is where they had all of their resources come in and out of. And so because of that, they lacked a lot of things that they would have normally had, all because of just a few individuals. And this was also one of the larger factors that resulted in the American Revolution starting just a few years after. But overall, the Boston Tea Party is something that is commonly taught in U.S. history, but I don't think a lot of the background information is taught, like specifically why. And obviously, because of the Boston Tea Party and because of the people standing up for themselves, it made it pretty easy for people to come together and fight against the British Parliament just a few years later. And obviously, they were very successful in that.